Morning. Welcome to our Grow Your Commercial Book of Business with CID Insurance Services. My name is Anae Agostini. I'm CEO of CID Insurance Programs, and I want to welcome you to our webinar this morning. So let's talk about our objectives and get started. So who are we, CID? We are a small wholesaler based out of San Diego, and our claim to fame is that we are very focused on business, doing a good service, being responsive, and taking good care of our brokers, which is over the years has been almost non-existent in the E&S wholesale world. Our product appetite is really simple. We design all of our products to fit what falls outside of your standard markets that you are appointed with. And if you don't have appointments, we have a broad appetite with standard markets, your preferred markets as well, so that we're able to accommodate whatever your needs are. I'm going to talk about why you shouldn't focus only on new business growth, which is super important because there's two parts to the equation, and then how to retain your commercial renewals, and then let's talk a little bit about tools on our website. Let's get going. So we specialize strictly in commercial insurance products, and it's really designed, who we do the most business with is independent brokers and your captive insurance brokers, mainly farmers, agents who have the arrangement of first right of refusal, and that where you are needing to find another market if farmers doesn't want to write it. We also, as I mentioned, do a range of preferred risks to manageable, hard to place. So we're not going to be a market for the very, very hard to place. And again, we can go preferred, but really we're designed to accommodate you when you fall outside of your already appointed markets. We write in a number of states, as you can see here, so no worries relative to us being able to accommodate you. Especially, we're based out of California, so especially for those states that surround California, because a lot of brokers are now starting to write outside of their domiciled state, and we want to be able to accommodate you. So why would you choose us as a wholesaler? Well, our quote process is pretty fast and easy. We have very responsive underwriters. They're knowledgeable, experienced, and they've been with us on an average of 8 to 9 years. So we break everything up by product. So they really do know their products. And so whether you pick up the phone and call them or whether you send an email, you're going to get a response within that day, and typically very soon after you've reached out to them. And they're going to be able to answer most of your questions and point you to the right app so that you can actually, move forward with getting quotes in a timely manner for your insureds. We customize marketing material by class of business. So on our website, you'll find those. They're designed for you to put your information on that marketing piece and then market the heck out of that, whether it's a hard copy or whether you want to do it in an email broadcast of some sort through Outlook or MailChimp or whatever email broadcast system that you're using. We've got a lucrative commission structure. We pay anywhere from 10 to 15% commission on most of our products. So, and we try to keep our broker fees low in order for you to be able to add a broker's fees on your end if it's applicable in your state. And that goes a long ways towards, pushing your percentage of income on a policy up to that, what in the industry they call the 13.5% margin is where a insurance agency can stay profitable. So, we pay the 10 and you add a fee and you get to that. Sometimes you can get even a higher percentage. So that's we try to support you in that way. We obviously, you're watching a webinar today. We are definitely always looking to support you with educational opportunities. We have our webinars are published, so you can go watch them at any time. We do office trainings. If you have a team of people in your office that you'd like us to come in and educate or train, we're here available. And then what's important is to focus on, you need to be, as an agency, focusing on renewal retention and new business production. They are both equally important, and the key here is to have PIF growth. Some people ask occasionally, what is PIF? That's policy in force. So that's your total policy in force to include renewal and new business. So as you move forward year to year, you want that policy in force growth. You want it to grow, and that means you have to be equally paying attention to keeping your renewals and writing new business. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our underwriters and their products. Dan Mulligan has been with us well over 12 years. He's handled our professional liability department for a long time. He's a seasoned underwriter and very responsive. Alex Goodman is now handling our professional liability renewals, and so you'll see her engaged for any time something comes up for a renewal. Dan does also step in on renewals as well where needed, if his expertise is required. But look at all of these classes of business that he can write professional. So classes of business is very broad when it comes to consultants and any kind of consultant. And that base of consultants has really grown. Management consultants. The E&O is a needed coverage for anyone who's providing professional services and acting in a consulting capacity. You'll also see he's very good with architects and engineers. So that's an easy market. He's got great carriers for that class of business. Social services, which is your assisted living facilities, your home health care, all of those, he's got lots of markets for that as well. And he specializes in real estate services of all types. So there's very little that he can't write in that arena, and there's definitely a professional, that's an E&O exposure for that industry. He's got a lot of medical markets that are available, and so don't hesitate to send those his way. And then we've got these three additional, and in addition to E&O, he specializes in employment practices liability, cyber liability, and corporate D&O. And so he's got many he can do many classes of business relative to that. But don't forget, those are the two growing areas that actually you are far more likely to have a cyber liability claim or an employment practices claim more than an E&O. And the E&O becomes, is a mainstream coverage now, understood by most. But these three on the side, the EPL, the cyber, and don't forget corporate D&O, because there's things covered there that are not covered on an E&O, EPL, or the cyber liability. And by the way, if you have any questions, please chat them into the chat. I can take questions as we go along. Everyone's on mute, so we won't be able to talk with each other, but I would love to answer any questions that you might have. So just chat them in to the chat room. Okay, and then Teresa Cochran's been with us a long time. She's a great underwriter that does a spectacular job with her brokers. She specializes in a number of areas. One of her main specialties is what we call garage, and you can see that there's quite a few classes. Now we can go preferred if you don't have standard markets you're appointed with, or if you have standard markets, we are great. We are here to serve you on anything that falls outside those standard markets, and we write those really well. And this is a good class of business for any broker to specialize in. Teresa's really good at holding your hand if there's things that you want to learn, and our application is definitely available on our website for you to get started. She does manufacturers of all types. She's got multiple markets that have, that seem to balance out that appetite, and so that we can handle a broad array of classes of business. Contractors, for us, we continue to grow our markets. And by the way, just so I don't forget, we do new ventures is on all of our products is acceptable. So we have markets that will do the new ventures. Contractors, that seems to be an area where all the contractors are getting back into the business. They were out, some of them were out of the business for a while. And so we still see a lot of new ventures coming in on contractors. But that's a very small list of what we can do. And we can do general contractors as well. They are, we've got great markets for that and competitive markets. So feel free to submit those or contact Teresa if you have any questions. We do very well with builder's risk and vacant buildings, vacant land coverage. So please, please consider us for those as well. Distributors and wholesalers is another area that we can write a lot of. Know that that's easy business for us. And then retail merchants. So let's talk about this. Liquor stores, tobacco shops, your convenience stores. We've got some very competitive markets for that. And so and they're very competitively priced and and in many cases on admitted paper. So we can really compete where a lot of the standard markets are just not wanting to write this business. So feel free to submit those to Teresa. She does a great job with restaurants. And again, she can do new ventures in this area as well. And you notice down here it says hookah lounges. So that's another one that is typically the standard markets are not writing. So this will work great for you. So Michelle is one of our up and coming underwriters. She's really good at what she does, and she's very responsive. She specializes in your habitational business, your lesser's risk, and we have lots of markets, broad appetite, especially for the older buildings, and so she does a lot of lesser's risk as well. And community associations, which is the variety of your condominium associations and your planned unit developments, your PUDs. So we can write commercial and residential there. So we are definitely in this business and help you, especially even if you're not good at this, we have our application tells you exactly what you need to submit in order to get a quote easily from her. She also specializes in nonprofits, so all types of houses of worship, charitable organizations, trade associations, food banks, and fraternal clubs, chambers. So it's and even your sports associations. And so you definitely are able to accommodate you from all types of coverages as well that are needed for these nonprofits. Concessionaires and vendors is another one. These are easy. We've got an online quoting system for these. You can go on and quote, or just call up one of our underwriters and get a quick quote over the phone. So that's a great way to handle these, because these are very inexpensive and easy to do. They don't take up a lot, so you want to be able to not spend a lot of time trying to get a quote on these, because usually when you need them fast. Okay, we do fitness centers. Special events is another one we can quote over the phone and online or through our web system. It's all on our website. And so those are really, you don't want to spend a lot of time on those because they're not expensive policies, and so you just want to be able to get those done as quickly as possible, because usually first in is who gets that business. She also underwrites surety and fidelity, so that's an area if you need a standalone fidelity, a broad form fidelity policy or surety, she can accommodate you for these. The good old tattoo and piercing is still not a standard market risk, so you'll find we can take care of those for you, and then all types of training schools are available. So let's move on to Caesar. Last but not least, and so there's a question here. Does your janitorial product cover BOT, residential and commercial? We do have an admitted product for janitorial. I think we have both admitted and non-admitted. And I'm not sure what the BOT, both. The H is missing. Okay. Yes, we can do residential and commercial. So no problem with that. That's and our janitorial product, we have multiple markets. One of our markets, if it's a simple risk, that can be quoted on our phone quote, instant phone quote, and web quote. But if it's a more complicated risk, we can quote those very quickly for you. We'll just need a submission. The phone and the web does not require an application to get started. You just go on with information and quote that way. And so, yes, admitted and non-admitted. Hope that answers your question. So, last but not least, Caesar is our workers' comp new business underwriter. Lexi Goldspring is our renewal workers' comp renewal underwriter. So you'll see her, and then Catherine Yeager also supports that department as well. So for services. So Caesar has been with us a long time. He's very experienced with work comp, so he's a great guy to work with. So and I have another question. So, would we submit apps or can we quote online? I think so. There is a variety of products, and I don't. If I have a chance to take you on, I'll show you where to access it. But it's under it's right on our homepage. It says web or phone quote. That's our web and instant phone quote. Not all products are available there. Just your more simple, BOP-like products are going to be applicable there. So it will show you an inventory of what's available. Otherwise, you would need to be submitting an application, and our apps are on our website as well under applications. So I think that answers your question. So Caesar with work comp, he does from very small premiums to very large risks. more simple risks to more complicated risks, but he could really hold your hand on getting things quoted. And the bigger the risk, the more you have to you have to look at and evaluate the risk, because there's a lot of competition on the bigger premium um, workers' comp policies. So you would be looking at your mod factors. Did it did what does their loss history look like? Do they need loss control? Do they need claims management services? And what carriers can offer the best services for those clients, because you're selling premium, but you also are selling services at that point. And I think anyway, if you can go in on with work comp, that's the way to approach it, even on the small ones. So you can see he's got a wide variety of risks to approach to help you with. So anything we write elsewhere is pretty much, Caesar can do the work comp. So you really don't want to forget the work comp, because whoever, if they've got employees, they're going to have a work comp policy, and that broker is going to be looking to steal your business. So let's move forward. So just as I mentioned, it's, when you're retailing, you need to know what coverages your commercial clients need. All of your, and all types of businesses, their needs are going to be slightly different, right? So it's important to understand what all of the coverages that you need to consider, given the business's, set of circumstances. So some things, sometimes you can't just rely on, the package fidelity coverage, right? Throw in a little bit on the package, and you're not getting computer fraud and funds transfer coverage, which is now, becoming a really important coverage to have. So you can only get that on a standalone fidelity policy. So you may need to consider that. Cyber liability, those little throw-in limits that they put on the package policy, it's not enough with the growing exposure related to that, and the ransomware, the extortion, the theft of private information. It's just growing, and the amount of the demands from these hackers is really is growing fast. It's getting into very big numbers, and so you don't want to be. You would want coverage for that for your client. Don't forget the professional liability exposure. Garage is a beast by itself, so you really always, you need to look at all the exposures that a garage is going to have. Directors and officers liability. So do you have a board of directors that has, do you have a business that has concerns, with, of, people on the board where there could be, there could be legal action that could require, that would require a D&O policy to be in place, at the time of that claim. And obviously, if you have employees, employment practices liability is important. Talked about workers' comp, and hired and non-owned auto, obviously, should be part of any package. If they've got, like a contractor has got equipment that's moving off within 100, it's going further than 100 feet of the building that they are in, you're going to need inland marine coverage. So anyone, doesn't have to be just a contractor. If they're transporting equipment, you're going to need inland marine coverage. And then your insureds you should always be presenting an umbrella, because the general liability limits, $1 million is just not necessarily enough these days. So I would always be presenting, and we have markets for umbrella, so we can take care of that for you very easily. Okay, so we talked about new business, and I know the job that you guys do, it's difficult, because you could get bogged down in service so easily, because of all the incoming phone calls, people asking for endorsements, having questions, et cetera, et cetera. So the key is, as business owners, you must always manage your service efficiently and focus on your renewal process and your new business process. And both have to be equally paid attention to. You want it, and this is how we do business. We will deal with you the same way. We track the renewals, our book of renewals, which some of you may have some renewals with us, by expiration report, and we confirm that each policy is issued. Right? We confirm that the policy got renewed, the policy got issued, and the commission has been paid. Those are the key factors for you knowing that your process is working. Because if you're not tracking those things, then you're sort of, you don't really know what's going on within your business. You want to treat every renewal like new business. You may not. And I always, on the new business side, I support in picking products, classes of business that are, and commercial is very much this way, and professional is even more this way. It's very stable business. You don't have to touch it as often. You don't get phone calls constantly like you do in personal lines, and so you just once a year you got to make sure you treat it like new business. You want to send a written proposal, confirm the renewal, bind order. So you want to treat it like new business. It's very important to do. We've got templates on our website, and I think I'm going to show you one of those in a moment. Monitor your renewal retention and lapse ratios. Keep lapse ratios at 10 to 15%. And obviously, if you're going to have some lapse, and you can't control all of it, right? Because people go out of business, and things happen. But you can control a good majority of it, but you're always going to lose some. That's why you have to have your new business equation working hand in hand with this, because you've got to grow your book. Remember, we're trying to grow the PIF, the policy in force count. Cross-sell other insurance coverages at renewal. That's a no-brainer, and that's a warm sell. So you should be asking for what other coverage that you could quote for them at renewal. And if you don't have an umbrella, I just include it with a renewal as an optional coverage. And then again, asking for referrals, that's a really big, that for us tells us how we're doing. And we get a lot of referrals from our existing brokers doing business with us. And so for you, that's important as well. Ask for referrals from your existing customers at the time of renewal. And then, as I said, focus at 50-50 on renewal retention and new business production so you can stay profitable. So a couple more things about retaining your commercial renewals. Again, I mentioned that it depends on the PIF count per insured, right? That's pretty important. You want more than one policy, because if your average is less than 2, meaning you only have 1, your renewal retention might be in trouble. So you really want to have PIF per insured to be 2 or greater, because that is much more stable business for you to retain. The more PIF per insured, the easier it is to retain the business. Know what coverages your clients need. That's one thing. That's always qualifying, asking questions of your clients. Don't be afraid, to put it out there, because if you don't do it, another broker will, and that's how you easily lose your business. So it's important for you to be asking those questions and putting it out there. Even if your insured does not take the coverage for your own E&O protection, you should be offering that coverage. And again, know who controls the other insurance of your insured, as well as expiration dates, right? Ask about where that other insurance is, what date it expires, and set up a pending system for yourself to actually go after that business you know, and I'd look at 90 to 60 to 90 days out. I would, just like on renewals, you would want to work those 60 days prior. That's how we work our renewals. We gather information at 60 days if we need it from you, and then at 30 days, we're going to have the quote out to you. Same thing with new business. You need to start early on that as well. And then make sure you're providing those formal insurance proposals. That's important. And I believe I'm going to show you a proposal. Here's a workers' comp proposal. But on our website, we've got lots of tools for you. And I'm thinking I'm going to see if I can go to our website and take you in there, show you a couple things. Yes, got right in. Here's our website. For some of you may know it and some of you may not. But here's where our applications are. Okay, and hang on, I just got to move a couple things around so I can get to the bar on the left here. See how everything is categorized? This is where all your apps are. Okay, I'm going to close out of that. Oops, darn it. That's not what I wanted to do. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. I thought I had that one. Okay. Okay, let's try this one more time. I promise I'll do a better job this time. Okay. See down here, you see web quote and phone quote. And if we go in to, let's just do the phone quote. I believe our phone quote. Now, we have a phone quote program and a web quote program with USLI, and they do a whole series of products. So you could just click on either one of these, which will show you, and you don't need an application. So you just need to know this limited amount of information, along with the basic information on the insured, location, the name of the business, etc. But you could see that there's quite a few things that you can quote, and it's in all the categories. So there's professional, and let me just go back one step here, see if it takes me back. Yep, that's where I wanted to go back to. And then your web quote is right here. Here's your classes of business for web quote that you can do, and on the web quote. I prefer the phone because you talk directly to an underwriter, and so lots of questions get answered very quickly. It's 5 minutes to get a quote over the phone. So I would recommend the phone quote, but I will take you back, let you choose where you want to go with that. So also resources. Here's our webinars. Okay. They're recorded webinars, lots of them to watch, very good information. We partner with our carriers. This gives you a great, and then here are our upcoming webinars. Okay. Also, templates. That's a great place to go. Okay. Under templates, here's your proposal templates that I was telling you about. You saw the one for workers' comp. What we do, they're Word documents. You make them your own, put your logo on them, and we've pinked the area that needs to be filled in. So you've got a variety here, and you can customize them, do whatever. They're yours. Do whatever you want with them. We've also got risk profile templates, which we find to be a great way to gather information from your insured so that you can fill out an application. You can actually send that to them or fill it out over the phone with them or while you're in their office. You'll see there's a wide variety of templates in here. We've got a broker and fee agreement template, sample invoice, and all of our proposals have a sample of invoice because you've got to be closing all the time. You must give them something to pay for the policy with so that they can bind it with you. You want them to give you money. We've got a broker of record template. So you can see that we've got a variety of things to make life easy for you. So these are really great tools. And I think there's one last area that I want to show you. which is our marketing tools. And that's our marketing library. You'll see, and I'm just going to open one because I love the way that these, so we're going to go to this one, which is this is a great way to cross-sell your renewals, is to do a professional liability, send this piece out with your renewals. And so here's where you put your name down at the bottom. And so this is a great piece to use. And so there's a variety of them. I'm going to go back. This should close out. Here we are. And you'll see that there's many more. You could promote cyber liability or the D&O, or just go after a class of business. So there's a wide variety here, and we're doing more to add to the list all the time. And there's a question, what is the average turnaround time for quotes when apps are submitted? We can do same-day quoting, and I would say on average it's probably within 48 hours. 3 days is probably our maximum for quotes. It would have to be a complicated risk that might have to go to the carrier to be looked carefully over by an underwriter. That might take a little bit longer, but on average we're very fast. We've broken out our teams into new business underwriters and renewal underwriters, so people have the time to get their quotes out, get to their quotes, and take good care of you. And then again, you can see applications here. One more I just want to show you. Under our contact, our underwriting team is here. So just wanted to show you that. Here's our underwriters, and then our team. So if you're looking to see anyone how to contact someone, there's a good place to start. So I'm going to close out of this and pull our PowerPoint back up. And I think we are done. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you go to our website and take advantage of the tools that I showed you. And we look forward to doing some business with you. And if you're already doing business with you, we thank you for your business and look forward to doing more with you. Please feel free to reach out directly with any underwriter or myself. You can find my email address on our website as well. If you have any questions for me or would like to talk further, I'd be glad, if anyone's interested, I'd be glad if you'd like to have a customized individual go-to-meeting event for just your office or you. Please reach out to me and let me know if I can arrange that for you. So thank you again for joining us.